how to clean your car engine. This video is dedicated to Richard Seam. This is going to be the short version. If you want to see the longer version, you're going to have to go to my other channel, Auto Fetish Detail. When it comes to doing your car engine, it actually can be simpler than many videos would suggest. In most cases, you don't need to cover all the components or select components. It's as simple as this. On a cool engine, you spray it with your choice of degreaser, something that will truly cut down grease. You agitate it with your choice in a brush. You hose it off with water. It can be from a hose, a pressure washer. You can use a sprayer, it doesn't matter. You just need to rinse it some way. Then you blow it with either compressed air or, in my choice, an electric leaf blower, and then you have a clean engine. Past that, you can choose to dress it to enhance it visually. So let's go through the steps and I will show you how simple it actually can be. Here we have our arsenal of tools. Different types of brushes, different lengths of handles, a bottle brush, a tire and wheel brush, a little detail brush, another type of detail brush. Really doesn't matter what you use. We're talking about an engine. It's not really overly sensitive. Got my electric leaf blower. Got, of course, my super clean. I'm gonna practice safe blowing by protecting my ears. At this age, I can protect everything. Got my gloves to protect my hands. So let's get rolling. Now, when it comes to cleaning a car engine, the first starting point you need to be aware of is you need to start on a warm to cool car, preferably cool. Now, it has less to do with introducing a cool liquid onto a hot engine about it breaking the block or cracking the block. It has more to do with the fact that if you try to do this on a hot engine, or regardless of the temperature, the warmer or hotter it is, the more your chemicals are going to dry or flash dry. Once they dry, they become ineffective. I know there's a lot of fear about getting water on a car engine because of all the many components. Any modern day engine is going to be very well housed and protected from moisture and dirt. All the components, if you actually scrutinize it, you will see that the components, the fasteners, the connectors are all encased and housed very tightly. So when it comes to introducing water or chemicals to the equation with electronics and mechanical components, it really becomes trivial to non-existent as far as the fear or the concern factor goes. It doesn't mean you have to be stupid about it. You're not going to take your pressure washer with a zero tip on it and hold it at point blank range. That would just be stupid. Regardless of what you're using, chemicals, brushes, equipment, apply a little what's called common sense. Now, before I start an engine, there's a couple things you want to be aware of. Based on the chemical that you're using, the degreaser, you have to determine how aggressive it is. Now, if it's aggressive, that's going to be good for degreasing a car engine, but it may not be good for your car paint. So how do you protect the car paint and the surrounding areas if you have an overly aggressive, or if you're just naturally fearful of this process? Well, there's a couple ways. You can hose down the perimeter of it and keep it wet as you're using the chemical. Obviously, you want to manage the chemical and you spray it where it's intended to be. You can actually go a step further and put some car wax on the surrounding panels, because the wax will create a superficial barrier. So if you do get a little overspray on it, you can, at the very end, you can hose it off, dry it, and then you can wipe off that wax and it is safe and protected. Because I know how to manage this, and this product is not overly aggressive, as in the point of being caustic and damaging to materials, I know I can do this safely without those added steps of precaution. Now, when I attack an engine, I'm going to assess it very quickly. I'm going to attack the dirty parts first. This engine is unique in that what happens is snails come up here at night and they congregate on this warm manifold cover. I have no idea why. I don't know if they're seeking heat, because that doesn't really make sense, because it would dry them out, which they do. They come up, crawl up here, they die, it makes a big fat mess. So I cleaned off the chunks first. Point being is I'm gonna dissect this engine. I'm gonna look for the greasy, oily parts of it, and I'm going to pre-treat it with some spray, like this right here. I'm gonna pick one of my brushes. I'm gonna pick a bottle brush in this moment, and I'm going to scrub it. Now, you may only have one simple brush to use, and that's fine. Obviously, you will make do the best you can, but don't underestimate the power of having the right brush, the right tool for the specific job. So whether it's this finer detail brush, you will find that having that perfect brush really will make your life easier and deliver better results. As I finish up applying the Super Clean, I'm then going to reach for my hose so I can At this point, I've got some overspray on the fenders. You can manage that by simply wiping it up as you go. Now that I've done the initial rinse, I want to assess if there's still some dirty areas that I need to spot treat additionally. There is down there. And the engine is so intricate, there's always gonna be remaining areas that you will have missed with the first rodeo. So just know that you're probably gonna have to do this repeat applications. Go in based on your level of expectations. Will determine how many times you have to go in and out in these applications. Now that we have an acceptable level of clean, I'm gonna use my leaf blower. I'm gonna blow out all the excess water so that there's no standing water. It's not pooled up anywhere. I'm gonna pay special attention to the sensitive components, whatever that means in your world. In my world, that means the alternator, the airflow sensor. I'm gonna pay attention to the electrical connectors. All those areas I'm gonna pay special attention to when it comes to directing that airflow. So I'm gonna make sure that I blow out as much of the air in those sensitive areas as possible and make sure that overall there's no pooled water. At that point, I'm gonna then start the engine, let it run for about 10 minutes, and that will finish drying it out completely. It'll get the belts moving because there's gonna be some water that will get trapped between the belt and the pulleys. So that will eliminate any water in those areas. At that point, then you can assess it. You can decide if you want to apply some dressing or not. You can refer to my other videos because that's where I then take it to the next step and apply some dressing for a visual enhancement. Okay, tune in till next time. We're gonna call it quits with that. If you like it, thumbs up it. By all means, leave a comment. What I want to hear specifically from you guys is what have you experienced if you've done this on your own car engine yourself? What were the points of fear? Was it all about the components? Was it cracking the head or the block because it was slightly warm, slightly hot, whatever? I want to hear from you what those fear points are. Till next time, we'll see you on the next video.